Hello everyone, welcome back to Code Vipassana Season 10, Lab 3. Today we will learn on how to build a multi-agent app with MCP Toolbox and AlloyDB with ADK. MCP Toolbox is something that will be new for a lot of you, but don't worry, we will cover it extensively in this code lab. And since MCP is the hype currently, all of you should be very excited to know what's in this code lab. Let's start. We've already built multiple agents in the past two labs. We've built a multi-agent system, we've built a single agent system, and this time we will be using a multi-agent system, but for the order status check, we will be building it with a tool from the MCP Toolbox for databases. What is MCP? Well, MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, and it's an open standard. It is a way that lets AI be consistent when it connects to external tools, services, or data. You can read a lot more about it here in this section 2 of this code lab. Let's start with the code lab. So, just like always, if you've done this before, you can skip ahead. If you've not, just follow along with me. So firstly, we have to go to our Google Cloud Console page. So you can right click this and open it in a new page. Then what do you have to do? You have to ensure billing is enabled for the project. Then once we have enabled billing, we'll need to run a few commands. So let's go ahead and do that. Firstly, we need to be sure that we're inside a project. For example, I want to be inside this project, which is S10-L3. So I will select that project. Make sure you remember your project ID. How do you know if you have billing enabled? You will go to linked billing account. You will see if under credits you have $5 here. You can see I have $0 here. So what will I do? I will go ahead and redeem some credits. And how do you redeem credits? Well, you would have gotten a link like this in your email where you can redeem credits. So you can go ahead to that link, sign up. So you would have gotten a link like this in your email that would have given you access to $5 worth of credits. So you can just go ahead, access those credits, click on accept and continue, and you would be able to successfully redeem your credits. Once you have redeemed your credits, if you want to apply it to a project that you already are in, firstly just go and check if you have them. So let's see, here we have $5 remaining, we're good to go. I'll also show you how to create a new project. Let's just click on a new project and I will make this as S10-L3B and then I will just create it. Once I create the project, I can select it and I'm good to go. For now, what I'll do is I'll open the Cloud Shell terminal. This terminal will help us run all commands. It will help us do a lot more things in Google Cloud that we will need to do for today's code lab. So let's just open it in a new window, close it from here, and make sure you leave this page open. Go to the other window. You have your Cloud Shell terminal open. If you see it in yellow like this where your project ID is set, that's great, but let's just do these commands. Firstly, you need to run gcloud auth list. That will make sure that your Google account is authenticated in this terminal. Next, you will need to run gcloud config list project, which will show you if a project is connected to your terminal. For me, my project is connected. So if my project is connected, I will not need to run this command, but if yours is not, just run this command and put your project ID there. What is your project ID? Well, the page you left open, your project ID is right here, or you can even click here and look at your project ID here. Don't take a look at this. This is your project name. Your project name and ID might be the same or might be the different, but make sure you're using project ID. So now we need to enable some APIs. So let's just copy this command, go to our Cloud Shell, enable these APIs, wait for them to be enabled. Okay, it says that we have an error, the billing account must be enabled. Let's go ahead and enable billing. So let's go to the linked billing account. This is the billing account which has used credits. So what we'll do is we'll change the billing account. So let's go to manage billing account. Let's go to billing, go to manage billing accounts, go to projects, go to the project we just created. So S10, change billing, select a billing account and the trial credits you just selected. Once you have selected them and you go back and try to run the command again, it should let you enable the APIs. As you can see, operation completed successfully. I was able to enable all the APIs. Now let's go ahead and set up ADK. To set up ADK, we need to create a virtual environment. So you can do that with a simple Python command, which is python-m venv space .venv. What this does is it creates a .venv folder in our root directory. If I just type ls, you will not be able to see it. I have to type ls-a for you to see a .venv folder, which is right here. The dot makes it hidden, but don't worry, it's there. Then we'll go ahead and activate this environment. You can do that by using this command, and then you will have .venv written here. Then let's install Google ADK with this command and you'll be good to go. It will install some requirements, some dependencies, and it'll be done very soon. Okay, so the next step that we have to do is we need to create a project structure. What we'll do is we have been doing this thing where we create this directory called agentic apps, inside of which we can create all our agentic apps. If you already have a directory called renovation-agent, don't worry, you can just go ahead and replace the code inside of them or just create another directory. The name does not matter. For me, I will just do this again for you all. So I will create a directory that is called agentic-apps. Then I will enter this directory, and after that I will create a folder called renovation-agent. Once I have done this, I will again go back to the page which was console.cloud.google.com. I will go to activate Cloud Shell. I will click on open editor and I will open it in a new tab. What this will help us do is it will help us configure files. It will help us do a lot more in a GUI, which is a VS Code style editor, and we can select the folder we just created here, that is agentic apps, renovation agent, click on OK, and it will initialize an empty folder if you just created it, or a folder with your files already in it. For me, it's empty, and I will just go ahead and make all the files here. Make sure when in your cloud terminal you reconnect and your session is active here. I will just clear it. We're inside agentic apps right now. Our project ID is set, virtual environment is active, so we're good to go. Now, what structure do we need? We need an init file. So let's go ahead and make that. We need an init file. We need an agent.py file. And we need a .env file. Okay, this is done. The next thing that we need is we need to import all the source code from the GitHub repository that is provided to you by Code Vipassana and update your own code. So first we need to go to the init file and update it with this code. Then for the code for the agent file, we can copy this URL, go and paste it in a new tab, copy this entire code, go back to our editor, paste it inside the editor, and just go and configure the requirements.txt. Same process, just go ahead, open this file, copy it, go to the editor, create a file called requirements.txt, paste your requirements inside this file. Next, we will set up the database that we will use for this codelab. For this codelab, we will be using AlloyDB. AlloyDB is a managed service provided by Google Cloud for PostgreSQL. So we will set up an AlloyDB instance here. So you can right click this, go to the AlloyDB page. It will show you what is AlloyDB, how is it used, what can it do, and so much more. To create one right now, go back to the console page you left open, go and type in AlloyDB. It will ask you to enable a billing account, set the account. I'm actually in the wrong account right now, so I will just go ahead, refresh, change the account. Now go to AlloyDB, go to create cluster, and let's follow the codelab for further instructions. So what does the codelab want us to do is it wants us to create a cluster and an instance with the following values. So that's what we'll do. It needs us to enable some APIs. We'll enable them. Once the APIs are enabled, it will ask you to configure your cluster. So let's go ahead. The cluster ID that we should be using is vector-cluster. So we'll go ahead with that. The password should be AlloyDB. Let's go ahead and do that. Database version 16 compatible, good. Region, always choose US Central 1 and make sure that if you create any other service, you also keep it in the same region. Next, we need the networking to be set as default. The networking has been moved below, which is right here. You can select default for your network. It'll ask you to set up the connection. Choose use an automatically allocated IP range. Click on continue, click on create connection, give it a minute or two, and it will create a connection on your default network. Once the connection is created, it will show you private services access connection for network default has been successfully created. Now, once we have done this, we can go ahead and select the vector-instance ID and configure our instance ID to be vector-instance. Let's go ahead and do that. Change this to vector-instance. You can leave this on multiple zones, that is not an issue. Now let's go back to the codelab and see what we need to do next. What we need to do next is we need to make sure we enable public IP connectivity so that our AlloyDB instance and the new toolbox can access the database. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's click on enable public IP. It will ask us for network, and how do we find this network? We will go to our Cloud Shell terminal and we will type in ifconfig. Once we type in ifconfig, we will get a ETH0 address. This is the ETH0 address that we have. You need to take the inet address from it. Once you take the inet address from it, you can replace the last two digits with 0.0. So I will take this, replace the last two digits with 0.0, and put a mask size of, let's say, maybe /16. So let's do that. So I will take this, put 0 and put the mask size as /16, and you can see that it's accepted it. And now we need to just create the cluster. We've already configured the instance ID. The next step is data ingestion, which we can do once our cluster and instance is ready. You can click on create cluster. It will start creating your primary cluster and your instance in this project. Don't worry, it might take some time, 5 to 7 minutes. Just wait and it will do it very quickly. One more thing to note, even though it shows ready here, do not go to AlloyDB Studio just yet, because if you scroll down, the instance is still being created. So wait until this has been successfully created. Once your instance is created, it will show you that the status is ready. Then you can go to the AlloyDB Studio, select your database Postgres, select your user Postgres, put in your password AlloyDB that we set, authenticate, and you will see you're able to log in. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to create a table. So let's copy this query, go to the editor, paste it, run this, and what this will do is this will create a table inside our Postgres database. You can see there's a table called material order status. and it has 25 columns, the exact 25 columns that we've just given it. After that, what we need to do is we need to insert some records from this file. You can find this file in hyperlinked here. Just go ahead, open it, scroll down, copy these 25 insert statements, go to the AlloyDB Studio, open a new editor, paste them, click on run, and all your records will be updated successfully. Next, what we need to do is we need to set up MCP Toolbox for databases. So now how do we do this is we first enter our ADK renovation agent directory. So we will go to our terminal, enter the directory that is needed. So for me the directory is renovation-agent. So I will go ahead and enter that directory and I will run this command below. So firstly I will export the version to be 0.7.0. Then I will use this curl command to install the toolbox. Then I will give the toolbox executable permissions, and then we will go to the Cloud Shell editor and add a file called tools.yaml. Let's go to the editor. You can see we have the toolbox right here. Let's go add tools.yaml, copy this, paste it here, and let's update all the things that we need to update. You can see here also it asks us to do something similar. We have to update all of these things that need to be updated. These represents the sources that the tools can interact with. So a source represents a data source that a tool can interact with, and we can define these sources as a map in the sources section of our tools.yaml file. So let's go ahead and complete all of this. So project ID for me is S10-L3C. For you it will be your project ID. My region is US Central 1. My AlloyDB cluster is called vector-cluster. My instance is called vector-instance. My database is called Postgres. My user is also called Postgres. And my password is AlloyDB. If you have changed any of these due to any reasons, make sure that you change the right details here and then follow along with the codelab. The next thing that we need to do is we need to run this command inside our terminal. It will tell us that it has initialized one source, a tool set, and the server is ready to serve. Once the server serves on port 5000, we will go to Cloud Shell and test it out. Let's go change the port to 5000, change in preview, and you can see it says hello world, which is exactly what the toolbox is serving. And you can see we have successfully logged in our HTTP request here, so everything works. This is the hello world that we're getting. So now all we need to do is we need to export our toolbox to Cloud Run. So what we'll do for that is we'll export our project ID in the terminal. So let's go ahead and do that. I will end this for now. You can just press Ctrl+C on your system, clear it for a bit, again export project ID. I will just export it. So we will name it as, my project ID is S10-L3C. I will make it that. You can export your project ID. After that we need to enable this Google Cloud Services. Just paste it, enter. Then you need to give some IAM permissions to your toolbox identity. Let's go ahead and do that. And finally we need to make sure that we have the correct roles. So paste all the Google Cloud commands one by one. So until the previous one was successful, let's paste this one. Then let's paste this one. and then let's paste this one. Once we have done this, we will upload the tools.yaml file as the secret. Then we will update the secret version. Then we will set an environment variable to container image that we want to use for Cloud Run. Let's go ahead and do all of these. I'll just clear the terminal so you will be able to see it correctly. We have uploaded this as a secret. Then we will update it. Finally, we will export it as a Docker image. Done. Now the last step that we need to do for the Cloud Run deployment is just use the gcloud run deploy toolbox command to deploy this on Cloud Run, and we should be able to have our authenticated URL that will help us use this anywhere. Because we have allowed unauthenticated invocations, it will allow anybody to use this application and for us to use this in our ADK multi-agent system. Let's wait for this to complete. Once this is complete, we will move on with the other steps of the codelab. Once the service is deployed, you should be able to see something like this. It is serving 100% of the traffic and we have a service URL. If I go ahead and open this URL, it exactly says hello world, not on localhost now, but on an actual URL. Great. Now let's connect our toolbox tool to our agent. So just go ahead and open your requirements.txt and see that we're including the MCP Toolbox dependency for databases in the requirements. Also, we are including the tool that is fetching the order data for a specific material ordered. Let's go ahead and look at these two things. So if we look at the requirements, then we have the MCP right here, and for the agent, we're also using the tool get order status by name. So next thing that we need to do is we need to set up the model. So we'll go to the Google AI Studio, grab an API key and go to the env file and replace our environment variable for our API key. When you go to the create API key, this is already linked to your Google Cloud account. So make sure you are still in the same Google account because this API key will be required to run your LLM. I will choose my Google Cloud account, create an API key, close it for now, then go to next step, which is step 10, where we'll set up all our environment variables. So we will copy this entire section, go to our Cloud Shell editor, go to the .env file, paste all of these, leave use vertex AI as false, go to the API key, and now go to the API key that you just created, click on it, copy it and paste it. Again, you can, if your cloud location is US Central 1, that's great, leave it to be that. Update your project ID, in my case is S10 L3C. Again, project ID is S10 L3C. Your project ID will be your specific project ID. Google Cloud region is US Central 1. Great. I've edited all the things that I need to be edited. The final thing that I need to do is run the agent. So what will we need to do? If you just want to run it, then you can run it from inside the directory where you have all your files. If you want to use the dev UI to run it, you need to go out one directory. So for now, let's go out one directory and I'll show you the dev UI. Before that, let's install all the dependencies. So we are anyways inside our renovation-agent folder. So let's go ahead and install all the dependencies that we need to be installed. And you can see it's downloading everything. It is using any cache dependencies if it has to. And then it will tell us that everything has been installed successfully. So we can move ahead with using the ADK web UI to use our newly built multi-agent system with Toolbox for databases. Great, it has successfully installed everything that it needs to be installed. So now let's go out one directory and type ADK web. Once you type ADK web, it will start the ADK server on a URL and we will be able to access a multi-agent system right there. Just give it a minute. It will start the server on localhost 8000. You can open this link and you can see we have renovation agent. Here we have this entire dev UI and we can use it for anything. We have an example prompt. Let's say hello, check order status for cement bags. If I take this, press enter, it gives me some kind of error. It says that I have not created a storage bucket and I have not given it as an environment variable. We have skipped that step, so we will just go ahead and do that. How do we do this is we need to go to the Google Cloud Console, type bucket, go to buckets, just create a bucket, name it anything that you like. So for example, I want to name it S10-L3C. Just click on continue. You can leave it on multi-region, that's fine. Click on create, confirm, that is okay. Your storage bucket will be created. One thing that we need you to do is just go back, click on these three dots, click on edit access, click on add principal, type all users and select the role storage viewer. What this will help us do is anybody who access anything in the storage bucket will be able to see whatever is inside, so you can share your app with anybody and also have them use it. Click on save, it will allow public access. Okay, since we have public access prevention, we cannot do this. So what we'll do first, we need to go and give public access. So let's go ahead and do that. Remove public access prevention. We will remove public access prevention. Now we can go ahead and add that principal. So all users and storage viewer. We'll give it storage object viewer since we've also wanted to access the objects inside. So let's give it storage object viewer. Click on save, allow public access, and this time it will successfully give it. Now the name of my bucket is S10-L3C. Your bucket name might be something else. Let's go to the Cloud Shell right now. Go to the env file. Look at the variable that is missing. The variable name that is missing is storage underscore bucket. So let's go ahead and put that variable. And the variable name is S10-L3C. That's the name of my bucket. I will save this. I will close this service for now and run it once again. You can see like this, you can receive any runtime errors. So do not panic. There's always a solution to these errors. We will go again on localhost 8000 and we will try the same query again. Let's go ahead, copy the query, paste it. Okay, there's some other error. Let's go and debug what the error is. It says that we need to paste our toolbox URL inside our file, which we have not done properly. So what we can do is we can go back to our Cloud Shell. We can go up. We can see here is your toolbox endpoint. What you can do is just erase this and paste your deployed toolbox endpoint here. If you remember, we deployed it earlier. So your toolbox endpoint should be right with you. Just scroll up. This is your toolbox endpoint. Copy this, paste it, and that error should be solved. We will close this once again, clear it, go run ADK web once again. We've run it again. Let's go refresh the page and try asking it the same query. This time it's successfully run. It's given the system prompt to the user and it tells us the cement bags order status is delivered. It got the order status through the toolbox. Great. That's amazing. Finally, the result that you have to give is exactly this response. You can give it from the web UI, or you can also give it from the terminal if you used ADK web. And you can go ahead for the last step and clean up this Google Cloud project if you would wish to. But until your credits don't run out, you can always share this project with anybody you like, and also learn with them, teach them, and invite them to Code Vipassana to learn a lot more about Google Cloud. Congratulations, you've just completed your third lab with Code Vipassana Season 10. We can't wait for you to experience the other labs that we have in store for you. See you in the next session. You can always connect with us at Discord, comment down in the YouTube video, and leave a thumbs up. See you in the next video.